So this is my second turn that I'm going to do on my hot compost. Covered it. We had a ton of wind, so we used a bunch of rocks. And look at all that condensation. It snowed here last night, and this thing is still cranking. So, turn compost with me. So I'm a 37-year-old mom to 8 kids, and something that I decided in the last year is that I was going to start collecting hobbies. I was going to find something that made my heart sing, that I could really get invested in, and something that could help me grow and learn, well, continue to learn, because I believe that's an important part of life. It's something we're teaching our kids, and it could also bless my family either as an asset to our homeschool and or as an asset to us nutritionally or functionally in some way. So I have been kind of dabbling in planting things, but I've been pregnant or nursing for pretty much the last 6 years since we moved here to this 3-acre area in Montana. We live in far western Montana, and I really, really wanted to make a garden that could actually benefit us. We're a family of 10. We're on a fixed income. My husband's disabled and I am his caregiver. So this, and our kids have food boundaries. They are allergic to gluten. And so I decided that I was going to dig in and do gardening. Well, the other hobby that I wanted was rabbits. And we had had rabbits before, got out of it for some health stuff going on in the family. And then I really wanted to get back into it. And so this last year I did. I am now 1 year into restarting the rabbitry, but this time for me. It's my hobby. It's what I'm doing for my mama breaks, like during my day. And with that, it kind of fed into this other hobby that I wanted, which was gardening. Because I don't know if you know this, but rabbit poop is considered cold compost. It is considered the gold that comes from raising rabbits, especially for gardeners. So I didn't realize that, not functionally, until just recently. And the problem is that I actually have to compost our rabbit poop because some of them not go for their pellets, and the pellets have wheat in them, and our kids cannot eat food that has touched wheat. So I have to actually hot compost our rabbit poop if I want to use it on our garden. If I want to use it on our trees, that's different, like fruit trees, things like that. But as a soil amendment, I have to hot compost it. So I have been delving into what that looks like. I was actually really intimidated by this hot composting process, especially since, I kept reading about all the don'ts. I've looked into vermiculture, but vermiculture doesn't address the, wheat pellet problem. And I haven't delved deep enough into how to feed rabbits without pellets, but I'm headed that direction just because of the severity of my kids' reaction to gluten, which is in lots of grains, not just wheat. And it's in lots of places that unless you do things on your own or in an alternative way, it's more time consuming, more expensive, and it takes a lot longer to find the components unless you know what you're doing. So goals. There we are. Everybody's got goals, right? And this is the part of the growing and learning stuff that I am doing because I do want my hobbies to be safe for my children, but I also am really loving adult hobbies. Like if you do not have an adult hobby, get you one, or like 5, because this has been so good for my mental health. I don't actually have to go away from my home really to do something that helps me feel good, makes my heart happy, and honestly, baby rabbits are the bomb, but it's the icing on that cake for me. I just had 2 litters the day of this video that came to be in my rabbitry. So fun things to wake up to. It's like Christmas every time. If you have rabbits, you know. But this pile, I am trying to build it up higher than the previous time I did when I turned it. And so that's why I keep starting and stopping, because I don't want to build it so high that it just keeps falling down off the sides like a mountain. But I also don't want to, have all of my soil, get messed up because I made it so high I couldn't cover it with the plastic. And I have to cover it with the plastic right now because we're having a very rainy week here in Montana. March is either snow or rain, and we're definitely having rain. So it was necessary to cover this pile. I did not have to water it today after I turned it. And as you can see, we have got some heat going on in this pile. It was actually warm enough that when I put my hand near it, it was hot. So we definitely had enough moisture. The video that I watched the night before this said that if it's not steaming, you probably need to add moisture somehow or rev it up a little bit. The permaculture guy that I watched used urine, actually. But again, rabbits, behold, they are super helpful. They make all the pee. And I have 2 stacks of cages that actually collect both poop and urine. So that is how this compost pile probably got so hot. I was not able to turn it for the first 7 days, just with life and schedule things. And it was smoking the first time that I opened that tarp. And that tarp is actually from, we use plastic greenhouse sheets on our chicken pen. And because there's no electricity, we have to kind of make it greenhouse style in the winter to block the wind, but still allow light. So there's no electricity out there, but every year we redo the plastic in the fall, and during the winter, that's what we use to keep the chicken coop nice and warm. Here I'm raking up the little bits of stuff that have fallen down and trying to make sure I've got everything that was in the original spot moved over. And the pitchfork that I'm using is precious. It broke during the winter. We were working in the rabbitry or in the chicken pen, and the handle snapped. So if you see me using something very small and bending over in a very not ergonomic fashion, that's why I need to get a new tool. So, yay! There I go. I am covering my pile and wrapping it like the present that it is. This part, I was so tired after this. You never know where you're at in recovery from a pretty catastrophic issue until you push yourself to do something like this. Like, this pile is not a small pile. I think it was about 4 feet high and about 3 feet wide when I built it. And maybe that's too big, maybe it's not, but it's working, and that works for me. So I'm putting all the rocks back. I didn't put as many rocks on this as I did before, and I did it. If you don't know this about me, I'm recovering from pulmonary embolism. After I had my baby, I had blood clots in all 4 lobes of my lungs. Both lungs came 5 to 7 days from dying, and I've had 2 shoulder surgeries. So I will admit, this kicked my butt, but I did it. Alrighty. I did it all by myself. And I was watching some videos on hot compost last night to see different perspectives, right? And so I made this a little bit taller at the recommendation of somebody who does permaculture for a living, which obviously this is my very first hot hot compost pile. So I made it a little taller. I had smoke. I have decomp. We're doing good. This is turn number 2. And there was a week between me starting the pile and turning the pile because life. We do things perfectly imperfect around here, and it works for us. To take my little cage that I used to make this compost pile and make another hot compost pile a little bit to the left of here and get it marinating, because as you can hear, we have chickens, we have ducks, we have rabbits, and they all have excrement. So, and it's spring. It's becoming spring here in Montana. So I have lots of deadfall from trees, pine needles, all the things. And why not?